Monday takes everything you got, then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our strengths where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome to another episode of the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. My name's House. I'm here with Rob and with Alex. We've got an exciting episode tonight talking about the NFC East. But before we get to it, how you doing, fellas?
Not too shabby.
What's up, buddy? How's it going? I haven't seen you guys since the last time I had food poisoning. So that was fun. I had food poisoning on Thursday night, last episode.
What did you eat?
I actually had some boneless chicken wings from like a restaurant right by my house.
I was going to say, you're going to throw them under the bus? Or are you gonna
I won't say the place. I won't say because I like it. I still like it. It's a good pizza spot. But yeah, it kind of hit me hard. So we got through that episode though. So we're good. We're good. Yeah, Alex, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. My 4-day weekend starts now. So
boom, there we go.
Yeah. I'm on a 5-day myself, buddy.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Hope you guys get some golf in. It's been perfect weather.
Sunday. You bet your bottom dollar I'm golfing.
Perfect weather for it.
Big softball tournament all weekend for me, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing dad
got
stuff.
The one dad in the dad bod squad. Oh, in this stream tonight, he's got some dad duties. So
that's generation.
Alex, what you wanted to bring a topic up? I heard.
Yeah, I kind of was just thinking about this the other day, but I wanted to ask you guys, who is the best fantasy player you've ever had playing fantasy football? Ooh. Who was the guy?
You know what? I've seen this bouncing around Twitter, kind of in the fantasy football world. A lot of people are kind of throwing this question out. So I don't have I could say a player, but I have more of a stack. So me and Mario kind of talked about this last night. One year, I believe it was 3 years ago, I stacked Patty Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
I went all in on Kansas City, and it was the year they went crazy, and they won it for me. So that was fantastic. But I rode them to the ship, baby. They just balled out every game. Oh, yeah. It was those three, and they just literally won every game by themselves.
Yeah,
House, what do you like? Who you got?
Can't argue with that. And I'm also in a similar vein, thinking of a stack that I had years ago, and this had to be, it might be 10 years old by now, but it was Stafford and Calvin Johnson together. Yeah. It was, and specifically, it was the last game of the season against Green Bay, and I think Matt Flynn was in for Green Bay, and it was a shootout. It was actually our championship because it was one of those weird leagues that goes all the way through 16. And plays the championship in week 17 at the time. Cool. Yep. So I just pulled the stats up from that game. Stafford had 520 yards, 5 TDs. Johnson had 11 catches for 244 and a touchdown.
Man,
and those two combined outscored the team that I was playing. By the time that game was over, I had it locked up.
Yeah, those two together, man. It was just Stafford knew. Stafford just knew, like, okay, I'm just going to throw it up to my man downfield. He'll go get it.
Yep, exactly. Like that meme, it's like, Tyreek down there somewhere or insert wide receiver. That was life in Detroit for a long time.
Kyle Pitts is Calvin 2.0, but I digress. Alex, who you got?
How about that? I think I've had some stacks. I had a year where I had Brady, Marshawn Lynch, and Calvin Johnson. That was a fun year. I think my most memorable player was my first year in one of my bigger leagues. I got Robert Griffin his rookie year in the 13th round.
Wow. Okay. The 1 year he
and it took me to the ship. I lost because he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he did. So that sucks. But I mean, as a 13th round pick, you gotta feel good about it.
I always remember that pick. First year getting Griffin that way, it was fun.
Yeah. I'll do a honorable mention.
You had to bring Brady up, right?
Oh,
sorry, Rob.
Of course he did. But Jamal Charles back in the day, man, he was a cheat code.
Yeah,
he was a cheat code for fantasy.
Marius James Cook.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get into some news for the week. Or today, because we talked about some news yesterday. Isaiah McKenzie is, all accounts, he's a camp standout over all the other receivers. Does this move the needle for you guys at all with him? Are you guys thinking about maybe a late round flyer on him with, a high pass offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's still 3 on that depth chart.
Yeah, he's getting run right now because Crowder's been out. But it seems like, I wouldn't be surprised if they cut Crowder if they like McKenzie.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I don't know if I'm immediately jumping into, hey, keep an eye on this guy, take a late round flyer, because Crowder is obviously established. He knows what he's doing. They know what they have in him, and I've seen a lot of guys who looked really good in the first week of camp.
True.
That shit the bed after the fact. So
that's a fair statement. I think there's such a downtime through everything, getting to the first time you see these guys on the field, that any little news, people kind of like take it and just run with it as far as they can, just because there's nothing really else to talk about. And you finally see these guys on the field. So you see someone make a crazy catch and it's like, oh my God, he's the man now. So I get what you're saying for sure. Alex, so Geno Smith, you want to get in there on McKenzie?
No, I was kind of just going to agree. Like, I think Isaiah McKenzie has talent, but Crowder's not in right now. I don't see them cutting him unless he's complete poopy. But yeah, it's something worth monitoring, but nothing to get.
He's interesting for Dynasty. Like, I don't.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I would definitely stash him on my taxi squad for Dynasty, third round pick or something like that. Geno Smith is getting the first team reps. I don't think that's really a surprise to anybody.
No.
Are you guys surprised, and are you happy for the receivers on that offense?
For Metcalf, that's a plus. Geno had good connection with Metcalf. I didn't think Drew Lock was going to end up getting it. I think you look at him, he's like, oh, he's got this rocket arm. You see the arm talent. Obviously, he makes terrible decisions. So I'm not really surprised he's been in the offense for a while. I still think there's a very small chance that they kind of look at Jimmy Garoppolo as maybe a possibility. And there's the rumors right now that, Garoppolo might just end up getting cut. So it's something to look at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Geno over Drew, but I don't think it's anything crazy. I'm not going to go out and pick up Geno Smith right now, or target him in my drafts, but I do think it'll make a slight difference, probably more for Metcalf than anybody else.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right with that, because you love Lockett, but I don't see Geno throwing the ball 40 yards downfield too often. So that doesn't help his outlook, but I don't think anyone's really surprised. This is what we've been saying all offseason, that Geno's going to win that job. So I had this projected in anyways. Ryan, this one I found interesting. So Ryan Jensen, the center for Tampa Bay, was carted off with a apparent knee injury. The team, I haven't seen anything since earlier today. Last I saw was that I think Bowles said he's not sure how severe it is, which if he's saying that he doesn't know, that's kind of worrisome. They're already kind of talking about bringing in J.C. Treader, which I know from the Browns days, he's a fantastic center. So I don't know if they'd miss a beat with that, but if they don't and they have to run somebody out there that's not as good as Jensen, it's scary. I don't think for Tom, but maybe for Lenny.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen's a guy, right, that he just signed a new contract. He was probably the best center on the market during free agency. Lots of people talking about, him going here or there. That's the leader of your offensive line, man. I think that's something to keep an eye on for sure. I actually just did a quick search, and there's an article on Sporting News that I haven't read yet, but why Ryan Jensen's injury is the bad news for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So maybe
it's important.
Yeah,
it's an issue. I mean, there's always that idea that you can bring somebody else in to replace it, and that happens sometimes. But he's super important to both Fournette and Brady. The center is. I just feel like they don't get talked as much as guards for what they do for running and tackles for pass protection. The center's got to do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super important. And if he's not playing, it affects them negatively regardless.
100%. I mean, he's the anchor of that offensive line, and it was a good offensive line. So that is for sure worrisome. Brandon Ayuk's apparently all indications is that he has taken a huge step up in maturity, and that bodes well for me because I know he's had issues with this coaching staff, and he's apparently always around Trey Lance right now. So if he doesn't start in the doghouse, I like his outlook for the season.
He finished good last
House,
year.
what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean,
finishes good every year.
Ayuk is a guy that is always, like you said, finishes good every year. Always high expectations. Maybe not like top end, but always has high expectations. Always seems to disappoint and then comes on strong at the end. If he can put it together for a full season, I mean, I know there's a few guys in our group that have quite a bit of Brandon Ayuk love. So
Mario.
I think if he's put it all together, man, he could be somebody that's flying up draft boards and could be a problem in the NFL.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
It's all comes down to Lance. I mean, you've got Debo there too. Yeah.
I think when he's on the field, he proves he's good. It's just for
some
some reason.
Lance or Ayuk?
Ayuk.
Yeah,
it's just
Ayuk is good.
Whatever reason, the past 2 seasons, he started off not on the field for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, monitor that. So DK very recently just signed a 3-year, $72 million extension with Seattle. What do you guys think, House?
I think the Steelers are going to have to pay Deontay Johnson at some point, and that worries me. All these receivers getting the money. I mean, who do we have now? We've got DK, we've got McLaurin, we've got AJ Brown, all those guys. All those guys getting paid. He can be a great receiver. It's going to come down to quarterback play for him, right? The tools are there. Everybody saw him. Everybody saw the speed when he chased down Buda Baker. Everybody knows how big he is, how athletic he is. Can they get him the ball?
You had to pay him. I mean, it's one of those. What he did was the smartest thing you can do. You're going into a season to where you don't know what's going to happen in the passing game, and if Geno's dog crap, that lowers your value immediately. It doesn't matter what you did 2 seasons before. So if he, this year, if he doesn't have a great year and it's based off the quarterback play, it's like at least he's getting paid. Because if he would have waited, he would have dropped in value.
For sure.
So it's good for him. It's worth it.
It is. I think it's good for both because he's showing he wants to stay there, which I wouldn't blame the guy if he's like, hey, you just got rid of my superstar quarterback. Now you're giving me Geno Smith. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, a little bit of a drop off there.
Yeah, just a tad. But let's get into the day. NFC East Preview. I like this. This is a good This is a good topic.
Yeah.
I like this one.
This has been the most talked about division I've been talking about, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it always is, man. You got Dallas in there, right? So Dallas is always a hot button topic. They always got superstars on the offensive side for sure. That's just how Jerry Jones likes to play this. And then Philly this offseason just said, you know what, we're going for it. And then you bring Dayball in over in New York. So there's some interesting pieces there too. Let's start with the Cowboys. What's the love for Dak? I'm big. I like Dak. I've always liked Dak. I've always been a huge fan, and I just like how he plays. I think he's a fun player to watch. So he's ADP quarterback going 7th, 65th overall. Fantasy points last season 330.4. He was good enough for quarterback 7. He's only 28 years old, so he's still relatively young. 2 years off that injury. So, House, where are you at with Dak?
Dak's a guy that I like coming out of college. And, you talk with your buddies and you say, talking draft. And he was one that I said somebody should take a flyer on in the late rounds because I thought he was going to be a good pro. I like the way that he plays. Didn't have that prototypical quarterback style when he came into the league. But, for me, it's his receiving course changed a little bit, right? CD stepping up, Cooper gone. And I think that we're going to see a little bit of TD regression from him. Even though they have, a couple of stud running backs, they seem to sling the ball all over the field. And if they stick with that, he's obviously going to put up numbers. I did read that McCarthy said that they plan on implementing more QB runs for him this year. So his legs could be a bigger piece to the fantasy puzzle this year than it has been in the past. Obviously, they toned it down the last couple of years because of the ankle, right? But if he's back healthy and they can work that back into the game, he's got some pretty strong upside. Even though I think some of those passing TDs will come down.
Yeah, I like him. This year, I'm not super high on him. I have him 14th. My main reasoning for that is don't know how the O-line is going to be. Should be good. Cooper, I get receivers are pretty replaceable. I don't know how replaceable Cooper is.
Yeah, he does a lot.
And kind of like, what I've been talking about with you guys is this division overall, it became a tougher division. Commanders defense improved. Eagles have a good defense. I think he might throw for more yards. I mean, honestly, that could happen. But yeah, his touchdown is going to go down. That scares me hearing that they are going to, draw up some more running plays because he's had 3 or 4 surgeries already. Yeah. So it's not worth it. You have him as top 5 paid QB money right now. It's not worth it. The dude's a slinger. Do you really need to put him in a position to where we're going to draw up plays? No, why? Aaron Rodgers can run. You don't draw plays for him up to run. Yeah.
No, that's a fair. I haven't seen that, so I'll look at that later, probably tomorrow or something. 100% that do that. I'm not a fan of it. I'm big on Dak. I always am because I think they just let him sling the ball like crazy, which is pretty wild. And if they do it again, there could be some sneaky plays in this offense. Let's get into the running backs. We talk about them quite frequently. Zeke and Tony Pollard. Zeke's ADP is RB17, which I still find crazy. That's super low for a running back that finished 10th last season. He's still only 27, but that's an old 27 for the amount of touches on that body. And then Tony Pollard, ADP running back 31, 79th overall. He's a young 25, very limited touches, so I'm not too worried about any sort of, wear or tear on him. What do you guys think? Who do you like? Who are you in on? Who are you out on? Alex?
The crazy thing is my ADPs for both of them are almost exactly the same. Zeke is older. I know we've had that piece, the article we put out about running backs and the touches and what it does and for regression. Zeke's in that area. I know he came in a little bit leaner and he's supposed to be the healthiest he's been in a while. The problem is I don't think it really matters. I think it's if Pollard is looking as good as he did last year, he's going to get more touches. Pollard's going to be more involved this year regardless. The Cowboys love him. I'm staying away from Zeke this year. I mean, I had him on my team last year. I think, maybe if you're getting him around RB17, I think it's worth it. But I would not be taking him in the top 15 running backs. No way.
That's fair, man. I mean, if you get him, what's 30th? That's like mid-third, right?
That's a little high for me for him.
Yeah, I don't think there's so many other people I'd probably rather have right around there.
Yeah. I mean,
House, what do you think of these guys?
Ooh. Yeah, so looking at my rankings, I have Zeke at 19 and I have Pollard at 28. Yeah, I said it before. I think that Pollard is going to be used. I think they're both going to be on the field at the same time. I think that Pollard is going to be used kind of all over the place, running, receiving. We've all talked about that, so I won't rehash all that. I'm probably not touching Zeke at that ADP. I don't love him overall. I don't know that I've ever had him on one of my teams. Probably tried to early on, those first couple of years, but he's somebody I'm staying away from. I'll take a shot at Pollard for sure later in the draft.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to bring up though, Rob, for you is you have Pollard ranked higher than Zeke.
I do, and I'm sticking with that. And there's some news came out today that actually kind of helps me. I'm a lot more comfortable with that ranking there, which I was going to bring up at the next slide, but we can talk about it now. So Gallup apparently they're saying he's going to miss. He's going to be gone first week. They're saying likely like 5 weeks. So if he's gone for 5 weeks, I really think Tony Pollard is going to be on the field a ton, like 80% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Because who else is it? I mean, I get that they have 2 rookies that they like. They have James Washington, but your most dynamic playmaker besides CD is going to be Tony Pollard.
And Schultz.
And Schultz, that's sure. Schultz for 100%. Like someone that can create a play. Like Schultz can create a play, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to take a screen pass and go 7. Tony Pollard can do that. So I do anticipate him getting a ton of work, especially if Gallup's out that long, especially.
Yeah, that Gallup news definitely helps and supports that ranking that you have for him.
Yeah, let's kind of get into these wide receivers. So CeeDee Lamb obviously is the stud of the group. That's why they let Amari Cooper go. He's going wide receiver 7, 15th overall. I mean, if I can get him at 15, I'm taking that all day. Fantasy points last season, 232.8, good enough for wide receiver 19. I think he missed a few games. He's only 23, which is crazy. He's a beast. I don't think we need to even really get too deep into him. What is your ceiling and what's your floor for him? And then where are you comfortable taking him?
Good question. I hadn't actually thought of that. Ceiling, I think is probably wide receiver 4 or 5.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
Because I'm thinking, you got to account for Kupp, you got to account for JJ, you got to account for Devontae. There's a few guys that you kind of pencil in at the top of that list. So I don't think he's going to outperform them. I think he's got a safe floor, though. I don't think.
Me too. I really do.
I think you're going to see him.
His floor is probably 10.
I was going to say maybe 12.
Yeah.
But right in that general area.
Yeah.
I like him. I think I have him wide receiver 9, and there's a couple guys I think just kind of go above their ADP because I'm crazy, but I like CeeDee Lamb is one of the most fun receivers to watch in the NFL. He's super talented.
He is.
He's great to watch going to the end zone. I mean, the dude just looks like a freak athlete. He
is a freak athlete
at all times. So him finishing wide receiver 19, it's like, yeah, what House said, I think his ceiling's 4 and 5. I'm excited to see if he just completely balls out this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, he's one of those rare players. I think there's only a handful. Him, JJ, Cup, Devontae, maybe this season, that can legitimately get maybe 106 targets.
Yeah.
And if you can get that many targets, you are in the conversation for wide receiver 1.
Oh yeah.
Just is. Like if they let Dak sling it, if they take the reins off like they have been, hey, Dak, you're going to throw the ball 650 times. Who's he going to throw the ball to? I get Schultz is there. I mean, but he's only going to get 100. He'll get 100, but there's like CD's the guy. And if he can be who we think he is, he might get like a lot of targets.
Yeah.
Is there any other receiver, House? Is there any other receiver on this team that you're in on that you want, that you maybe a sleeper?
So I'll answer that question. Before I get to it, I wanted to bring up one more thing about CD and ask you guys a question. With Cooper gone, with him being the clear number 1, does that worry you at all, the extra attention that he's going to get?
Yes.
It does. It does. It does. I talked to this about with Mario. This was a while ago, probably a month or two ago. That, it does. Can he beat double teams? Can he beat the number 1 cornerback, which I think was on him a lot last season? So I don't even want to say that because he was the one last year.
He was their best receiver last year.
We can say Amari Cooper was the one, but CD was still the guy that people paid attention to.
Right.
It's just now that there's not that other legit receiver alongside him, that they will double, triple team. I mean, he's going to get a double team. There's no question about it for me. Like, he'll get double teamed every play. Can he consistently beat that? That's what we have to see. We think he can. He's a great player. He's got to show it. But if he can do that, I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah.
I think that's what keeps him out of the top 5 more than likely is because of that.
So
yeah, that's fair.
Tend to agree with what you guys said. To answer your other question, other receivers, Tolbert maybe is a dynasty stash, and everything coming out of Dallas thus far is that he's playing well, building chemistry, and then Gallup, who we talked about, might be one of those.
Touching him?
Might be like last round, second to last round. Let me stash him and
his
and
ADP
hope.
is crazy.
He would have to fall way down for me to get there. But I think he's a guy that has some potential to win, not to win you weeks, but to be a key piece late in the year.
For sure,
he's a tough one, right?
Fill-in.
He's a tough one because if he's coming in week 6, you're not going to play him at least until week 8. Right.
More than likely.
At least you're not going to play him the first week.
No.
So, and then even when he comes back, they're going to slow play him in. So you're hoping that he shows enough for you to get him for your playoff push. And his ADP right now is not supporting that, like for 4 weeks, because he's.
I think they're thinking he's not going to be out as long as what's now coming out. I mean, I think that ADP is like, he misses a couple games. That's it'll adjust.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. If you can get him in the last round, I don't hate it. But I'd rather have Tolbert.
For Dynasty, yeah, but if it's redraft, I'm taking Gallup in the last round. He's there, you're taking him. Because when he is healthy and with CD being there and drawing all that coverage, he's really good. He's an above average wide receiver. And he's been on that team a while. He has chemistry with Dak. He knows the offense. So if he's healthy, there's a good chance that he's putting up big points at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away from both of them in a redraft.
Yeah, for sure.
It's tough.
Just someone to keep an eye on is the only reason I brought him up, right?
No, I get it. Yeah, it's a tough one for me because it's like, again, they're gonna throw the ball a lot. So like you want a piece of this offense.
Yeah.
Just like that's why I'm so high on Tony Pollard. I think he'll get a lot of targets, but another receiver is gonna get some. I mean, I do think James Washington could be a sneaky play too. a vet coming in. We'll have some. It'll be easy for him to work himself in. I think he'll have more trust than a rookie coming from Dak.
For
and
sure.
if they click at the beginning, right time, you never know. I always liked James.
I'm excited to
I thought he was
see,
good.
especially if Washington's going to be decent. I mean,
I always thought he was good.
He was in a bad situation in Pittsburgh.
That's
sure.
right. That you know more. He was a
Yeah.
good player though.
Yeah, I think they fell in love with him because he and Mason Rudolph torched Pitt up and down the field for 2 straight years. So they saw it firsthand.
Maybe.
And I don't think they knew what to do with him. You know, his thing was he's a downfield threat. He's a high point receiver, but he's not tall. He's not that fast. But he makes catches when he gets the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if he's going to get
Right.
the opportunity in this offense with all the other weapons we've talked about.
That's fair. Let's
Yeah.
go
It's going to be interesting.
speak about one more guy that I think is a dude. He's a beast. Dalton Schultz, ADP tight end 6, 64th overall. He was tight end 3 last year, 26. So he's coming into that like sweet spot for tight ends. I have him as my tight end 3 or 4. I'm tight end 4.
5, so yeah.
I think he's one of the if you can't get Kelsey, if you can't get Mark Andrews, Pitts, I want Schultz. I mean, I would spend a higher draft pick on him because I want that tight end that I know is going to get a ton of targets.
Yeah. Solid, safe pick.
Yeah, I think he's okay. 6th round comes around. You like your team. Are you willing to spend the capital on a tight end? Or are you waiting? Like, say you miss out on Kelsey Andrews, right? Would you take the swing on Dalton Schultz in like the 6th? Because that's where he's going.
Am I taking him over guys like Kittle and Pitts? No.
No. Pitts is going in the 3rd. Kittle, I believe, is the 4th.
Yeah.
So if you come around, Schultz is the last like legit guy. And then you're
I'm for sure taking him in the 6th.
Then you're talking about Colt Kmet, Irv Smith, those guys later on in like the
I
time.
think Schultz has a legit opportunity to do 1,010.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're getting, I mean, you taking him in the 6th is 100% worth it.
I'm with you, dude.
If I'm not getting one of those, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you there.
You're good.
If I'm not getting one of those top guys, I tend to fade tight ends.
That's my
even
question.
Even though I think he's going to put up numbers, right?
Yeah. Do you think he could take that jump? I guess that's a better question, right? Do you think he could take that jump into the conversation of like with George Kittle, with Kelsey, with Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts was a rookie last year, but I think we all throw him in that category. Yeah. Like, can Schultz be in that category next year of like, okay, we're going to spend a 3rd round pick on this guy? Or is he, you know what I mean? Because Kelsey, Andrews, they're getting up there, a little older in age. Like, when's that, okay, the young bucks coming in, like, who's that next guy up?
I would be happy with him.
I think he's got the opportunity to jump in there.
For sure. He's going to get a ton of targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those targets are going somewhere. I think Dak throws the ball a little bit more. You know, the touchdown regression I think is happening with Dak. But Schultz and Lamb is the safest picks on this team. Those are both 2 guys who can finish top 5.
Oh, we just got a question here. Anthony McQueen. Okay, so he's asking PPR keeper league. He's keeping CMC. Love it. I think he could be RB1. Chase, you got to do it. And then he's asking for one more. So he's got Lamb, 8, Aaron Jones, or Joey B. It's tough without the rounds to kind of make that.
I'm going most points, and it's going to be Joey B in that situation.
I think I go Lamb, dude. Then you have Chase and
B.
you got your RB1. You have 2 top 12 receivers.
Yeah.
And then you just have to worry about filling the rest of your roster out. Like, I'm doing that all day. That's 3 legitimate 1st round picks.
Well, think it's a keeper league. What quarterbacks are going to be available? You got to think.
It's fair. We don't know who's kept.
You got to think those top 5 guys, whoever has Lamar, whoever has, Kyler or whoever, those guys are all going to be kept.
Interesting. So you get 3 keepers. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'd rather roll the dice on like a Kirk Cousins and a Trey Lance, like pull those guys out in the later rounds, run with these guys because they can carry you to the playoffs. And then if Kirk or Trey Lance is a top 12 quarterback, I think it's worth the gamble. I mean, that's fair though. I get what you're saying with Joey B, but what's his ceiling?
I go Burrow,
what do you think?
Lamb, and Jones.
What do you think Burrow? I mean, now we're getting off topic, but Burrow ceiling's like 5th, 6th.
Burrow's ceiling is 1.
Really? Okay.
I'm not even a Bengals fan, but the dude
I just think he was so efficient last year.
Yeah.
So efficient.
I
can't see it happening again. It was it was off the like.
Breeze,
it was out of norm. It was out of the norm.
70% multiple years, and I, if people want to give me crap for the comparison to Burrow is a generational talent. I mean, and you couldn't have set him up any better.
That's true. I mean, the pieces
good
around him. I mean, it's crazy. But
with that being said, I'm going with Rob. I'm with Lamb on this.
Lamb,
for
right?
Sure.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
I think I'm going Lamb there. He's I think with that setup of those 3 players, that you really have a core that is tough to beat. Let's get into Philly though. How's your boy? I want you to kind of give us your pitch. Tell me why.
QB1, baby. I don't have him ranked there.
ADP,
that was my bold take.
Yeah, ADP quarterback 8. This is House's dude. He was quarterback 9 last year. He was 2 points per game in 21 though. So that's something to note. Only 23 years old. He just brought in AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me. But go on, House. Give it to me. Tell me what it is.
Listen, we go back and forth, and Alex is ready to explode here to yell at me because we had probably a 2-hour text conversation with Alex, myself, and Mario, and talking about this. The numbers there, 3,100, 16-9. They don't look good. But the dude
60%.
runs the ball. The dude runs the ball. We've all talked about how much running quarterbacks make a difference. Would I take him to start my team if I was starting an NFL team and had an expansion draft? Absolutely not. I would not want him to be my quarterback. But in fantasy, he's going to put up numbers. He's going to throw the ball more. He's going to be more efficient. He's got better receivers now. He's going to continue to run. Everything he needs is there. Unless he falls off a table and completely forgets how to play football, which Alex thinks is going to happen because he'd rather start Gardner Minshew, he's going to finish top 8 with
it's fair.
Bold take.
It's fair.
Top.
I mean, I get it.
3 upside.
I get it. I mean, the legs alone, man. The legs alone. I'll tell you what, Rob Norton really put into perspective how big of an advantage a running quarterback is.
100%.
With the yards compared to like passing yards, it's wild. So I get what you're saying. I get it. It is. I mean,
it's still.
I can't see them pulling him off the field. I can't see them pulling him off the field.
Let's think for a second. If you take out numbers, you take out fantasy. And the reason why I'm doing this is Cam Newton at the Patriots was relevant some games, was a fantasy starter some games for the Patriots, and he was terrible.
Yeah. I think that's different though.
Not the way I'm looking
Age-wise.
at the way I'm looking at it is with Jalen Hurts, if he plays the entire season, he's top 10.
Top 10, right?
I have him at 15. But if he plays the entire season, he's a top 10 quarterback. Not based off of talent. He's not a good quarterback. The reason why I am so low on him is the Eagles have a very good defense. That division got tougher. They had the easiest schedule The Eagles had the easiest schedule last year. They beat one team with a winning record. One team with a winning record, the easiest schedule. Washington had the hardest schedule. And they almost got over, they were almost better than the Eagles. Washington improved. The Giants should be better. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. This team with the Eagles is ready to win now. They traded for A.J. Brown. They have great D. They have a better O-line. If Miles Sanders is healthy, if they're not winning games, especially in their division, there is no way they play him an entire season. No way.
If they brought in somebody, if they drafted somebody that was waiting in the wings.
Waiting in the wings to what?
In your argument, but they had.
He was the waiting.
Gardner Minshew. Do I need to hold my thing closer? Right?
Completely
Gardner Minshew.
More passes, better touchdown to interception ratio. I don't understand. So. He was on the Jags. Minshew was terrible on the Jags. I'm not even saying he's a starter. He's better than Jalen Hurts with that team.
All right, I'll leave this out there, okay, and then we'll move on because we could talk about this for the rest of the episode. I think that if they're in a position where they're going to yank Jalen Hurts midway through the season for Gardner Minshew, that they would rather just play Jalen Hurts out the rest of the season and go for one of the top quarterbacks because they must have lost 7 games in the first 8. It's the only way they would do it. It's the only way they would do it. Yeah.
If he's not winning games, the coach isn't going to tank. He's not. Look what's happened with other coaches recently who have tanked. They lost their job. I'm being honest.
Yeah, but we're
talking about football. Take fantasy out of it. Think about football.
Was it his first year last year?
Full season, yes.
His first year,
right?
As the starter, yeah.
Not Jalen, the coach. What's his name?
Oh, Sirianni.
Yeah, that was his first.
That was his first year.
Peterson was with Hurts his first year.
I think I could be wrong. Maybe he proved enough last season to get that respect where if you don't think that the head coach is going to come in and talk to that GM like, hey, I can't win with this guy. What do you want me to do? Hey, just let him play. We'll see what we got at the end of the season.
Coaches have learned. Flores got fired. There's plenty of other coaches been fired when their GM has told them tank so we can get the player. And then what happens? See you later. Coaches aren't doing that anymore. They're going to try to win games. They are. They don't care. They know job security for an NFL coach is 2 to 3 years. That's average.
I don't think they would do it for Minshew. I think if anything, like they try to pull out some late, I
think they give Minshew a shot.
A week 5 trade for like Jimmy G if it's doable.
I think if he plays the whole season and Jalen Hurts has the opportunity and he could blow the competition away, he can make a major step. He really can. Based off of the film I saw from last year, it was laughable how often he threw into double coverage.
Yeah, I think they're going to be laughable for a while. Josh Allen,
for sure, 100%.
That's fair, man.
But how often does Josh Allen happen? Never.
It's a tricky one, right?
Once.
He's still 23. He's still 23.
I want top 5.
So he has this spectrum, right? He really does. He's one of the few people that he has a spectrum that he could be a top 5 quarterback. He could end up in the bottom 15. Just they might have seen enough. You're out, dude. Go sit down. And then he's not even playing for you in the back half of your.
If it's close,
and then you wasted a 5th round pick.
If it's close, you've got to see what the backup can do.
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was
the train roll.
Jalen Hurts won a fantasy football championship against both of you last year. Keep that in mind.
For sure.
That's true. It's true. All right, let's get into the receivers. A.J. Brown. He's going wide receiver 9 right now. That's I didn't realize he was that high. So he only played 13 games last year, 180 points. Good enough for wide receiver 32. So you got him. You got Devontae Smith there. Quez is there, right? Is there any? So who do you want out of the two? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Are you willing to spend the capital 26th overall for A.J. Brown? I think are we all kind of down on him this year?
House, you better say no.
I actually have him ranked the highest out of out of all of us. And I don't know if I need to reevaluate. I had him ranked 8 coming into the year. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I think he's going to succeed with Hurts, or if I think that he was held back by Tannehill.
That's a good. Well,
I hate Tannehill. I would rather have him Jalen Hurts.
Passing wise,
Not in fantasy, but in real life.
throwing to him. That's a fair statement. Like that's the thing, right? Can Jalen do what Tannehill did for AJ Brown?
No.
I think Tannehill is good at reading a defense and seeing like, okay, AJ Brown's going to be here at this time, this spot, and there's going to be a window, and it's get the guy the ball and he'll take off for 40 yards.
Right.
So
watch Jalen Hurts progressions. It's hilarious.
Let's not go back to Jalen Hurts. We've already talked about him being a top 5 quarterback.
So AJ, are you okay? So are you, if you're at the 2-3 turn, are you willing to take him, second pick in the third?
Probably not.
Hell.
That's fair, dude. I think it's tough. It's tough. I like him a lot. I always have. The knee injuries suck. I wish he didn't have those. He's a great player, but it's just not an ideal situation for me.
Goddard's there. Miles Sanders is there. Devontae Smith
not an ideal situation. What about Devontae Smith? Are you guys in on him at all?
Late.
Let me see. His ADP.
I think he's super talented.
He's going wide receiver 36.
I like that better.
It's not bad,
I would take him there
that late
for sure. And he's going to get Devontae Smith is going to get more opportunities.
He'll get targets.
Yeah, he's going to get more opportunities because AJ Brown is there. It's going to be more open.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I don't mind him there, wide receiver 36.
He's
I think
the
it's worth
receiver
the flyer.
where he's at, not AJ Brown.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. House? You with that or?
Yeah, I think Smith is a number 1 on a team is a problem. I think Smith is a number 2 on a team, which he is now. It puts him in a better position to succeed.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's tough to see 2 viable receivers with 450 passes, right? They're not going to throw the ball a ton. So it's tough to see that, especially with a pass-catching tight end. Dallas Goedert, ADP tight end 8, 85th overall. He was tight end 9 last year. Only 27, not old for a tight end. House, what do you think? Are you in? Are you out? Do you just kind of avoid these dead zone tight ends that a lot of people tend to?
Yep. Like I said earlier, if I'm not getting one of those top end guys, I'm fading until I end up probably with
like round 10.
With like we did in the mock the last time where I got, I think Gesicki, Kmet chasing upside with a number of targets. Going with my Steelers, taking Freiermuth because I think he's going to take a leap, but nobody's going to pick him. So I'm probably avoiding this whole kind of middle group. It's top end or I'm fading.
Yeah, Alex.
I have him tight end 6 this year. I think he's the biggest benefactor of AJ Brown coming. It opens it up. They're going to have a lot of attention there. And Jalen Hurts, I don't think is a very good passer, so he's going to go short. So where he's at, if it depends what my team's looking like. But 9th, 10th round, he's there. I don't have a tight end. Yeah, I take him.
Yeah, if you can get him in the 10th round, sure. But he's going 85th overall.
Even 9th. Even that's 9th round, I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him in the 7th.
Yeah, it's so would you rather have him or Gesicki? So you got to spend a 9th round pick. House?
I have to spend a 9 on both of them?
Either or, yeah. Goddard or Gesicki. I think they're going pretty close.
Probably Gesicki.
Ooh, I'm fading them. Too much talent added.
I think
that offense is wide open.
Man, that's a tough one. I think I go Goddard because there's 2 legit wide receiver 1s in Miami.
Yeah.
That are going to ask for 120 balls.
Yeah.
AJ can get away with 100 targets.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Because then Miami's going to throw the ball more. It's a weird one. That's a weird one. I'd have to think about it. this year, I think if Jalen does what House wants him to, they could take a step forward, be good.
When Jalen does,
it seems
what
like
House
that's
wants
Anthony McQueen over here. I think that's his squad. So thanks for
They're set up to win,
for
and
commenting
they could
and
be
everything.
really
We appreciate
good.
it.
It's all on her.
Alex hates your quarterback, but he thinks you could be good.
Could be a really good team.
House likes him though. So I like Philly. I think they're a fun team to watch. They're always in the mix, so it's a good squad. Let's get into the Giants. ADP Daniel Jones, ADP quarterback 26, 192 overall. He was good for quarterback 27 last year. 18th in fantasy points per game. Still only 25. What? I feel like he's like 90. House. I know this isn't like a sexy pick. We're not talking about QB1. Are you going to would you be comfortable with him being your QB2? Do you think there's upside? Like, where do you think his ceiling could be? What's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I'm comfortable if he's my QB2. Probably not in a super flex, though. So if I can run a quarterback out there and play two of them every week, I don't want Daniel Jones to be there, but he's a injury or a bye week fill-in. I don't have that problem. I think you guys touched on it. I didn't catch the whole episode, but I think you guys touched on it a little bit with the weapons that they have there. There is some potential with Tony, Galladay,
Robinson.
Yep. There's some weapons there that if he can put it together. I think he's not one that runs a ton, but his legs keep him relevant. Yeah,
man. I think it's a lot more than people might think. I really do. I think his legs really do. It's just, for me, it's like, can he stay on the field?
Exactly.
Like, if he can stay on the field with Dayball there now,
he's a turnover machine too. Fumbles, interceptions.
Sure. If he can clean that, he's 25, right? So, like, hopefully he can take a step, which we've been saying that for a couple of years, but he's still 25. Dayball's there, which we saw what he did, right, in Buffalo. Like, he likes to scheme quarterback runs. Like, if he gets Jones doing what he had Josh Allen doing, running wise, like that's enticing. I mean, that's interesting to me. That really is. If he can get some sort of like easy completions for the guy to, these quick receivers that can get open in short yardage, like let him get open 10 yards on the field, give him the ball. If he can make those passes, I mean, man, I don't think he's going to be a quarterback one, but I'm starting to get some love for him, which I hate saying. I really do. I think
it feels bad when you say
weird,
it, doesn't it?
But like everyone I see ranking him, right, is like QB 28, QB 26. I don't think that's right. Right. I really don't. If the guy plays a full season, like I think he's closer to QB 15, 16.
I don't know.
Right around there. I mean, it's all we're talking about a quarterback too. I don't think anyone,
He's a huge question mark, and rumors of Giants looking at Jimmy G.
This is a better question, I guess, for Superflex, right? This is more of a Superflex. Like, are you comfortable with him being your QB2 in a Superflex? It's scary.
Leave him on the waiver. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Positive note: his completion percentage has gone up all 3 years.
For sure.
I really
you watch him and you
grow.
see the potential, and then he'll make dumb mistakes, gets hurt.
He had Jason Garrett, right? Was his offensive coordinator. Who was his offensive coordinator last year? Because Garrett got fired. Was it Pat Shurmur?
Ivan Shurmur.
I just don't think he's had a good coach, man. Like the guy he had Joe Judge, which what are we doing? Like the guy was a special teams coach for a year in with the Patriots, and then the guy gets a head coaching job. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It was Freddie Kitchens after Garrett.
Oh my God, even worse. Okay, and I have more respect for Daniel Jones. Yeah, he hasn't had a good coach, man. Like who's he had that can call a
coaching does so
game?
Much, and
it
not
really
getting
does.
hurt and breaking down reads. I think his ceiling's okay.
He could be sneaky. I'm throwing it out there. He could be sneaky.
This is the worst team in the division this year.
This guy ain't the worst though. Saquon Quad Barkley, ADP running back 14, 24th overall. He's only 25 years still. He's getting up there a little bit for running backs, but not too bad. He was RB30 last year. Dealt with a high ankle sprain the entire season, though. He only played 13 games. I can personally speak. I had a pretty bad high ankle sprain, and my ankle still clicks. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it sucks. It really does.
It's never right.
No, and you have to take like a full. I mean, sometimes you need surgery to fix some ligaments and stuff. But okay, Saquon Barkley. I've been kind of going back and forth on this guy because some days I'm like, yeah, I think he could be legit RB1, and then other days I'm like, I don't even want to touch him. Where are you with him? Like, are you willing to take him in the second round? Like, so, okay, so say you go receiver in the first round. You come back and you got on Aaron Jones. Who else is going around there in the second?
So you broke up a little bit there. I think you said Saquon and Aaron Jones, right?
Yeah. So you got
Aaron Jones all day, every day.
Yep. What about Zeke?
I probably take Zeke ahead of Barkley.
What about Josh Jacobs?
I'd probably take Barkley ahead of Jacobs. I want him to do well.
Same.
I don't know why, because he went to Penn State, and I hate Penn State.
He's a fun dude to watch.
He's fun to watch when he's on. He's fun to watch, man.
I like him. I don't like his ADP. I don't like the Giants. So you're frozen. All right.
Yeah.
So
I'm healthy.
While we're waiting for Rob to stop being a robot, I just want to throw this out there real quick.
Frozen?
Daniel Jones was QB 11 through the first 5 weeks of last year.
I believe it.
And then he fell off a table.
Yeah. I believe it. It's just scary. There's so many unknowns when it comes to the Giants this year. I mean, you look at the rest of the division, you see improvements. Some things make a little bit more sense. I'm kind of trying to, if I'm taking anybody, it's Saquon Barkley. The rest of the squad, I don't want to touch. That's me.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a crapshoot over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It is what it is with them. Fingers crossed, Saquon looks good, and the Giants are better. I just don't see it happening. But what do you think about the Commanders' house?
Well, before Robbie, are you back? I can see you.
I think I'm back. Are we good?
I think you are now.
Okay,
yeah. Are we talking receivers here next before we move on?
Yeah, let's get into receivers. So we got some Kadarius Toney love. The more I think about it, the more I'm getting high on him as well. But we got him, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kenny Golladay. Of that group, like, who are you focused on any of them? Because they're all ADPs, like semi-similar, like later round. So do you like any of those guys' house?
I like the fact that Galladay's done it. Granted, it's been a minute because he got hurt, right? And it was on a completely different team with a different quarterback. So if I'm going for one, it's probably him, just on the chance that he can regain that form that he had previously. I traded Toney away to Mario a while ago, so
Who'd you get?
all out on him. I got Tyler Lockett in a draft pick, I think.
Good trade then.
For Toney and Amari Rodgers. So
yeah, good pick. That was a good trade.
I think he was chasing rookies. He had brought up on a previous episode, I think, where he sent me a trade offer, and I said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because I was feeling nice at the time. He offered me a first-round pick for Amari Rodgers. I should have just robbed him blind.
Ooh, dog.
Done it.
He was so high on Amari Rodgers.
I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
So
I don't know. I was feeling nice that day, but I'm not I'm out on Tony. I do like Wan'Dale Robinson.
Lesson.
I think he's one that you should be targeting in your dynasty leagues.
Yeah. There's some weird advanced stats with Kadarius Toney that bode well. I don't have
limited.
Off the top of my head. I wish I wrote him down, but it was some weird stats that it was like him and like Stephon Diggs and some like heavy hitters. It was only him and them. So that you would finish top 15 like 70% of the time. It was some weird stat, but
I'm taking Tony out of any of those guys late.
Me too, right? I think I'm going Tony.
You're going the guy with the highest ceiling. I like Galladay. I had him in the league last year. I thought it was going to be, obviously injuries happen. It's just so many unknowns. And Tony, you already know, has an attitude issue and already requested a trade after the first year.
Yeah, it's weird. That's a weird one.
He was
an idiot.
I think they drafted Robinson to replace him, personally.
Literally.
That's why I'm surprised he's still on the team, but it could be interesting with Galladay and those two on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to watch because two really quick players and then a big body.
I think this team cleans house next year.
25% target rate per route run in 2021.
Yeah. Small sample size, but he was good when he played.
When they put him out there, he gets targets.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Tight ends, Ricky Seals-Jones. I like Bellinger, the rookie for Dynasty. I think I'm high on him. He was getting run before he was on the pup, but he's back now already. So he's getting run with the first team. I never go for a rookie tight end. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts was the exception. Last year I took him in my one league. It's no propaganda. It's just like he was so touted coming out and went into a perfect situation.
Yeah.
Going to a spot that there was no one there, and he was going to get the targets.
A veteran QB who doesn't matter how bad the team is, he's good enough.
It would take a lot for me to draft a rookie tight end.
Yeah.
In a redraft. Like
Absolutely.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm not touching any of the tight ends of the Giants.
Yeah, neither am I.
Yeah. Not what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's get into the Commanders.
The Commanders.
First, let's talk about Carson Wentz. I'm just going to leave up Antonio Gibson because I don't feel like toggling with my connection issues right now. But Carson Wentz. Are you guys okay? I can kind of throw the same situation that we just talked about with Daniel Jones. Superflex, quarterback 2. Are you cool with Carson Wentz being that quarterback 2 for you?
Alex, the floor is yours.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I mean, for all the negative press he got, all the leaks coming out of the Colts last year and how he finished, he still was pretty good. And he's got, to be honest, there's a possibility he has more weapons. Taylor was legit. Pittman was legit. Tight ends weren't. Second receiver was non-existent. With the Commanders, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. They're in a division that they can win. Carson Wentz has shown he can sling it, and he can run it. I mean, the legs can be there sometimes. Curtis Samuel, if he's healthy, legit. McLaurin is a monster. Is he top 10? No, but he's a QB2.
House?
He's a QB2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much else to say.
I think his floor is safe. I think you know what you're getting. I don't think he'll finish above quarterback 15, and I don't think he'll finish under 20.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
he's a
he'll
good
be all right.
QB2 to have.
He'll be all right. He's not going to get 40 touchdowns. He's not going to get 30 touchdowns, but he'll be okay.
He could get 30. He was pretty close to it last year.
At 27 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I hope he's good because I'm super high on Terry McLaurin, which we'll get into in a minute. But, okay, Antonio Gibson, I've kind of made my piece known about this guy. I'm 100% out on him. He's going running back 19, 38th overall. He was RB10 last year. Still only 24, but I just think J.D. McKissick coming in back and all the news coming out about Brian Robinson getting the short yardage goal line work. I'm just kind of avoiding this whole backfield. So, House, are you cool with any of these guys? You want Gibson at his ADP? What are we thinking?
No, I don't. I don't want any of them.
It's a late ADP for RB10 from last year. I'll say that.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing that here's the funny thing about this is he's had success, right?
Mhm.
And there's been some things, Robinson, like you said, McKissick coming in, and normally somebody's going to drop because they drafted somebody came in to split carries, et cetera, et cetera. I still think he gets the lion's share of the work. I just don't love it. I just don't love the potential there. So
Okay.
probably staying away from it all day long.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Ready?
Would you rather?
Hold on.
Would you rather? Would you?
Would you rather? I'll repeat. All right.
What was that?
Would you rather?
Was that Mario?
I didn't make these clips. Probably. Gibson, Josh Jacobs, or AJ Dillon?
Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs, then Dillon.
Yeah.
Gibson's 3 on
Probably.
that list for me.
Okay. I think that's where I'm at too, to be honest with you guys.
Gibson could surprise, man. If this offense is good, I still think RB19 might be a little too high.
He could. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not in on him. I had him last year and I hated him, so maybe that's part of why I'm out. But yeah, I think the main piece of this team, right? Terry McLaurin. So he's going wide receiver 17th right now, 42nd overall. He was wide receiver 25th last year with a bag of potatoes throwing to him, and he's only 26 years old. So I'm going to step back because, I have my Buckeye blinders on. So, House, I know you hate the Buckeyes. Alex, I know you hate the Buckeyes. Tell me what you think of my guy here.
McLaurin's a stud. I think he's got high upside. I hate to say this, but I think Wentz helps Terry McLaurin.
I agree.
Again, Rob just called last year's situation a bag of potatoes, I think. So don't take that as too much Carson Wentz love, Alex. But
the Irish famine throwing the football.
It's true.
He's got somebody that has the arm strength to get him the ball. He can get open. I mean, I think Alex brought it up. Maybe not. How many times was he just wide open and they didn't get him the ball last year? A ton.
Yeah, you know who was super efficient last year, though?
It was crazy.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz sprained both his ankles on the same
That's good
play
for Terry.
last year.
So weird. Such a
I mean, I have Terry high.
Alex, what do you think of my guy?
Stud.
He could be in the top 10.
Okay, top 10, Alex. House, where do you think his ceiling is?
Same. It's
top 10.
Yeah.
Floor. Last
15.
year. 15. So last year is wide receiver 25.
Yeah.
I think he's better. I think the floor is better than that just because of the upgrade in quarterback play. If Wentz can stay on the field. Right?
Yeah.
Big
15
if,
floor.
but
I'm 10 to 18.
Yeah.
Floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
I think that's about right. Like I think the ADP of wide receiver 17 is, that's great value for him. I really think it is. Like I'm all in on that. Okay. So you got Curtis Samuel there. He's going wide receiver 78. And then the rookie, Jahan Dotson. He's going wide receiver 64. I love Jahan Dotson. I think he's a great player. I think he could be a very good dynasty player.
Curtis Samuel on his ADP is they've already come out of camp with Wentz. Wentz was talked about Curtis Samuel and said that the dude is super talented. It's health with him.
He's good. Like I've said that we've talked about this. Like I told you, he's very
quarterbacks
good.
Early. Curtis Samuel has not had a quarterback who can throw the ball his entire career.
Yeah.
Not once.
That's 100%. 100%.
And one
true.
year he almost had and almost 1,000 yards. I think maybe 900 yards.
He's good, man. He really
Yeah.
is.
It's gonna help. Dude.
If he can stay healthy, I think he's relevant.
Commanders are my sneaky pick for that division.
I don't know how sneaky it is. I hate Curtis Samuel. I'll say it.
Okay.
That's
fair.
I don't know why. It was 851 was the number you were looking for, Alex.
Okay.
In 2020, close, like you said, 900 yards. I don't see it. Staying healthy. Yeah, he missed a bunch of games last year, but before that he had played 15, 16, and 13. So relatively healthy for 3 years. 494, 627, and 851 were his yardage numbers. He just doesn't do it for me.
He had 851 with DJ Moore there and a quarterback who sucked.
Yeah, he's good. He needs to stay on the field. That's it. If he can stay healthy, he's a beast. He really is. Very
the football.
Yeah, but he's in that category of okay, he's injury prone. I hate throwing that word around. I wouldn't say Saquon is, I wouldn't say CMC is. I would say Curtis is, because it's always something.
Where do you take him? If you take him,
Curtis,
where would you feel comfortable taking him?
What's his waiver wire?
No way.
His wide receiver. I mean, he's got to be going undrafted. So wide receiver 78. So I'll take him.
You wouldn't take a flyer in the last.
I would. That's what I'm saying. I'll take the flyer in the last round for sure. I think
the upsides could be nuts.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I like him.
I probably do the same thing. I just don't like it. I already said one nice thing about Ohio State wide receivers, so I'm not doing it again.
I like OSU wide receivers for the most part. I hate Ohio State. You guys, you have McLaurin and Thomas, but Joe Burrow is not a Buckeye. Losers.
Yes,
so
he'll always be a
Tiger. It's a national championship, an Heisman Trophy.
He'll always be
Louisiana State University. Sorry.
Well, on that note, we're gonna get out of here. I had a fantastic time with you boys. All right.
Breaking news. They removed the film clause from Kyler's contract.
I was going to say the same thing.
Did they?
Yeah.
I got an alert pop up while we were talking.
Maybe
like this outro?
Can play Call of Duty while watching film.
There we go.
Now.
All right, boys.
Multitasker.
Had a good time tonight talking NFC East with you boys. All right, catch us at our Twitter over here, DadBotFS. YouTube, Twitch, all the major streaming platforms. All of them. Go check them out.
All those places.
This way. For Alex. We appreciate you guys.
Hasta luego.
Cheers, boys.